episode 2. Whoop, whoop.
Hello, welcome back. How are you guys doing?
Episode 2. We haven't posted episode 1 yet.
That's okay. You don't need to say that, all right?
Listen, I just want it to be ambiguous of when we record these things.
It's coming, okay?
Eventually.
Yeah. So from my knowledge, and at least in our discussions, we're going to be doing it, so I'm going to be the one talking first every time.
Uh-huh.
And we're also going to be switching off, so like spooky ghost thing, cryptid. This time you're doing the cryptid, I'm doing the spooky ghost thing.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep you going first for a little bit of consistency, but I
That's
was
fair.
worried the other person would get burnt out if you just kept talking about cryptids over and over and over again.
I'll never get burned out of cryptids. Cryptids are awesome.
I would.
Ugh. Anyway, let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah.
You have a story for me?
I do have a story, and lucky
I'm so
you.
excited.
You're getting a double feature. I know.
Wait, that's so cool.
They're connected a little bit.
Oh my gosh, wait.
It's 200 places.
200 places
Yes.
in one?
The reason why is because the main place, the first spot I found, apparently it's haunted by 2 prominent ghosts, and one of them also haunts another place. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
So you followed the ghosts.
I did decide to follow the ghosts, and
It's
I
like
was
a
like,
weird game of follow the leader. Except
it is.
It's just ghosts.
It is. Yeah, it is. But I'd like to introduce to you the Lafayette Pioneer Cemetary in Dayton, Oregon. Was our first spot. Yeah.
I lived next to a cemetery for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was fine. It was on the top of the hill. I actually lived next to 2 cemeteries.
Really?
Yeah. You'd like drive by one, and it was like older. I think it was built in like 1875 or something. It was like really old, and like all these old tombstones that nobody ever went and.
That's
I think
very
took care
sad,
of.
actually.
And then you go a little bit further up the hill, and there was like a more recent one. And so every once in a while, like I'd be waiting by the bus to go to school, and I'd look over, and there'd be like a fresh plot, and I'm like, oof.
So what you're saying is your house was not like a cemetery sandwich?
No, it was a modern apartment building next to a cemetery.
Oh, interesting.
I know. So we never got any of the spooky stuff coming down our way.
That's okay. Honestly, probably for the best.
Honestly, I probably just ignored it.
Yeah, well, you can't really ignore this cemetery's one of this one ghost. We'll start with the first one. And we're gonna go right into a hanging that took place in the cemetery,
You
apparently.
said that with a little bit too much grit on your face.
Listen, it's okay, all right? It's okay. The first person who was hung in the cemetery was Richard Marple, and he was actually hung on November 11th, 1887, for the murder and dismemberment of a local man from Dayton named David I. Corker. What were you going to say?
So they hung him
In the cemetery? Yep.
Oh, that's really convenient.
It is super convenient.
But also then that's not like... they just had him up on a rock and then like kicked it out from under him, or like just hoisted him. How long did it take him to die? Does it say?
It didn't say. I mean, there's like a really big tree in the cemetery that I'm assuming they hung him from.
Oh my gosh, is it still the same tree?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm gonna choose to believe that it is.
I mean, do you think they just like cut the rope after he was dead and he just like dropped directly into a burial plot?
They just had it pre-dug.
Yeah, they just
right
like
there.
dug it under him. He was like, "Oh man!" Like,
I think there's a scene in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" where they're about to do that.
probably. I mean, it was 1887, so they probably like kicked a horse out from underneath him or something. He was like, "No, I chopped a guy up with an axe," because that's what he did.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he killed this poor guy and then dismembered him with an axe.
Why did he kill him? Was he sleeping with his wife?
I don't know. It didn't say.
I'm gonna choose to believe that it's like a weird love triangle, and he was getting revenge or money. I bet you it was money. It was either money or a woman. It's always
gold.
It's always money or a woman.
Yeah, but ironically, Richard Marple's not even the one haunting the cemetery.
What?
Yeah, it's not. It's actually his mother, Anna Marple.
Did she witness it?
Yeah, she was there.
Oh.
She was also a witch, apparently.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and when he was hung, she cursed the town. She said there was going to be basically, she's like, the town will burn!
Oh my god, how dare you hold my son accountable for the horrible actions that he did. I'm not saying you should hang people.
Yeah.
That's maybe not the best thing to do, but also at the same time...
He was also a murderer, and
Yeah.
he chopped the guy up. The town did actually experience 2 significant fires after she cursed it as well.
What?
Yep, and then she also got beat and then hung in the cemetery as well. For being a witch.
For being a witch. Okay, that's like a sham trial, though.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Poor girl. She didn't deserve that.
To be honest, it didn't say if it was before or after the fires. So do you think she like cursed it and they were like, "Ah, man, this crazy lady," and then it actually burned? They were like,
she probably
"Hey,
like
hold
wasn't
up, hold
even
up."
there. She probably like didn't even say anything. But then all of a sudden these fires cropped up, and
They're
they're
like,
like,
whatever.
You know what I
Witch.
bet what that is?
It was
I bet it's
Anna.
I bet it's Anna.
It's Anna.
the mother of that guy
the guy we hung
and
for murder
and buried directly into the cemetery.
Yeah, but yeah,
Rochambeau.
she has been heard in the cemetery laughing hysterically.
Oh no!
Always nice. She's also been caught on tape saying "run home," which is kind of scary. I think it's kind of scary, personally.
I would never run. You know me. I would never run.
Well, if you don't run...
Not only because I just am not very physically fit, but also because I have bad knees. So if you ever see me running, you know it's bad.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, see ya. People who don't... apparently people have been chased out of the cemetery, though, and they found deep cuts all over their back afterwards. I also have some reviews of the cemetery, but we'll go in after we get to the other
some
ghosts.
Yelp reviews?
Basically, they're from a website called OregonHauntedHouses.com.
I love
which
that.
In my research, oh my god, I love this thing. But we're going to go into the other ghost. Her name is Lena Elsie Imus, and she also haunts the Argyle Winery, which is located in Dundee, Oregon. And Dundee, Oregon...
She's haunting a winery?
A winery and also the cemetery, apparently.
I mean, one of those is clearly better than the other.
Very much so.
I'd spend all my time at the winery.
Yeah, exactly. Evidently, she mostly does as well.
Okay.
But Dayton and Dundee are only about 5 miles away. I didn't actually know this.
Okay.
I literally looked this up maybe 10 minutes before we did this because I was like... I said these were connected. I do not know how far apart these are.
Could you imagine if they were actually like 1,000 miles apart?
Yeah.
It made like no sense.
Imagine being a ghost and you have to like commute to the spot you have to haunt after a certain amount of time.
Do you think there's like ghost Uber?
Probably like a train.
Or like a skeleton horse and buggy?
Like a carriage? That could be cool. That could be really cool.
That'd be sick.
Unfortunately for Lena, though, she, in 1908, committed suicide in her home, which is now the winery. Yeah, they turned her home, and she drank... Also, it doesn't sound good. She drank what's something called carbolic acid. Do you know what carbolic acid is?
I mean, I am a chemist, so I should know, but you should probably tell me.
Basically, it's a very poisonous chemical. It's used to make nylon, epoxy, medicines, and kill germs.
I feel like I knew that.
It kills you by giving you internal burns.
Oh, does it like eat through your stomach?
Yeah, kind of. And it kills within 3 to 4 hours with a significant dose.
That's still a long time.
Yes, still a long time. And honestly does not sound like a good way to go.
That does not.
Either. Which is very unfortunate.
So was her house was it a winery?
So it was her house and then it was a winery. I did not look up when it was established. Probably should have. Maybe we'll put a cliff note in the video or audio description.
Which is like, hey, this is editing Tucker?
Yeah, this is editing Tucker, even though I don't edit these. I'm stupid. Anyway, around the winery, people will smell the smell of flowers. They'll smell perfume. So she's not laughing hysterically. Are you
sure it's not just the rose bushes, I'm sure, are playing
Possibly,
around there?
but they also hear footsteps all over the winery as well.
Ew.
When there's only one person there. Apparently, she spooked some random poor repairman who was trying to repair like a copying machine.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't know why, but
imagine being you're just trying to fix a
copy machine.
You're
yeah,
like doing your day in and day out, and she just shows up.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, what's up?" Also, apparently, a medium was at the winery for something. She saw her standing behind a group of people, and she did not know about the haunting, apparently, according to her. And so she just, like, saw a ghost, and she was like, oh, there's an extra person here when they counted heads. And they're like, yep, that's Lena. Generally, they're not afraid of her.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Does she follow around on the tours?
I'm not 100% sure. Although she does, apparently...
do we have any Lena-approved wine tastings?
They do actually have ghost wine, which we'll get into in just a second.
Freaking way.
No, it's pretty sick, actually.
Wait, did you get me a bottle?
No, I wish.
What the hell, Tucker?
I did try to go online to see if I could buy any, like, actually, and it said they were all out, and I was very disappointed.
No.
But apparently, I accidentally skipped this part because I don't know how to read my own notes, apparently. They also hear wine glasses hitting the floor and shattering when none are actually shattered. So I guess she just likes to, like...
She just likes the sound of it.
She just, like, pranks people, I guess. I'm not entirely sure.
I love that for her.
But yeah, they made Spirit House. That is what they kind of call the brand of the haunted wine. They made a Pinot Noir, and they made a Spirit House Chardonnay.
I love Chardonnay.
I know. It's pretty cool, huh? Honestly, the bottles it looks like very high quality wine. From the reviews I read, it sounds pretty good.
Oh, wait,
how
far of a drive is it?
To Dundee?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I think that's like Eastern Oregon.
I was gonna say, maybe we can hit it on the way to the hotel that I covered last
time.
time.
Yeah. Actually, it's like kind of by Newburgh. That's not that far at all.
That's actually not that far.
Yo.
Wait, can we stop in?
Yeah, I mean, if you want.
Did they do haunted tours?
I think so.
And wine tasting? Dude, that'd
Probably.
be sick.
Go haunted wine tasting probably would be pretty sick.
It's like you're experiencing one kind of spirit for sure.
Yeah, you're getting at least one kind of spirit guaranteed. But yeah, apparently in the cemetery, people will see women going through the headstones, or they will hear laughter and footsteps. And if you're hearing footsteps, and I'll show you a picture of the cemetery in a little bit. Hearing footsteps on like grass, dirt when you're the only one in the cemetery does not really sound that fun.
I was gonna say, is it like uneven ground?
It's pretty uneven ground, yeah. I'll show you the picture.
My freaking ankle.
That's one part of it, and there's a little bit other ones dotting around it.
Yeah, I'm tripping immediately as soon as we go in there.
But see, things I would.
You're gonna want closed-toed shoes if you visit.
Yeah, I would like to bring attention to the phrase I said where it said they see women going through the headstones. Mm-hmm. Do you see how little headstones there are and how short they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds not very fun at all. Do you think it's like she just like pops up and like scurries across and then just like disappears?
Is she like she's walking through them?
Yeah, I guess.
Like they pass through her, like they weren't there the whole time and she's just walking around? Yeah, or is she like parkouring off of the top of all these
What
headstones?
I gather from moving through the headstones, just kind of like walking like around them and such.
Oh, like moving through.
Moving through, yeah.
Oh, like she's on her little hot girl walk.
I guess. And also that's the winery. The winery is beautiful.
The winery
honestly
is beautiful.
For being haunted, no, normally think haunted's like decrepit, like old, run down, like the cemetery, but like the winery, it looks really nice because it is still a winery.
Driven past this?
Probably.
I
mean, Dundee's not that far away from some spots. Yeah.
Spots that shall remain unnamed.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the reviews of the cemeteries now.
Yes.
Because they're so Are there funny.
Reviews? Do you have reviews for the winery as well?
I don't have reviews for the winery because it was not on OregonHauntedHouses.com, unfortunately.
Get with it, OregonHauntedHouses.com.
Honestly, so true. But we'll do the long one and then we'll do the short one.
Okay.
So this is, and I quote, "Long, long ago, my buddies and I heard about it," referring to the cemetery, "and decided to go late at night. Spent a bit of time there. Kept feeling like something was watching us. We tried to get her to talk to us," I'm assuming they're talking about the witch, "and tried to rustle her feathers a bit. Found where we think she died and buried." Not very good grammar either, unfortunately. "We began taunting her to get an answer. No words. But one buddy said something that must have pissed her off because he ended up getting grabbed so hard between his left shoulder and collarbone that he fell to his knees in the grass. There was no one visible around him when we looked at where he was grabbed, and I shit you not, in all caps, bro had a deep black handprint. By the flashlight light looked black/dark red. We decided it was time to leave. Right before we left, she blew on my neck, and we spun around, and there was her apparition. Scared us so bad, we took off running."
Dude.
That's kind of scary, huh?
That is kind of scary, but also that is a straight man activity.
No, 100%.
It's like, oh my god, you guys.
Our house would totally
you guys
go to a cemetery and taunt a ghost.
Yeah, you would, and maybe Brian would. I would not.
Shay probably wouldn't. I feel like Jordan would be there to like fight off the ghost
Jordan
for us.
would be there to shake his head and
tell
you I told you so. When
and he'd be the one that get his neck blown on by the ghost witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. So when it took me so long. Like when it said he ended up getting grabbed so hard between his left shoulder and collarbone. Is that that's like around like the back of the neck, like in?
Well, no. If it's your collarbone, it's kind of towards the.
But it's between the left shoulder and the collarbone, so I assuming it's like the top of your shoulder, right?
Yeah, kind of like the base of your neck.
And he got grabbed hard enough that he like fell to his knees in the grass. That sounds unfortunate. And then she back checked him. She 5-fingered him on the back.
Dude.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, right?
And this is on the review?
This is a review of the cemetery. Some of them
5 stars.
It was like 4. No, it was 5 stars. Yeah,
5 stars. Haunted experience.
It was 5 stars.
It was great.
The other one is also really funny. Are you ready for this next one? I don't think you're mentally prepared for this.
Okay, hit me.
This review is 1 sentence long.
Okay.
"Me and my best friends in 6th grade decided to go up at 2:50 a.m. We heard laughing and glass breaking. I passed out and my friends had to drag me out before I awoke."
That should have been more than 1 sentence.
It should have. It's a very bad run-on. Also, that's a 5-star review.
Are all the 1-star reviews, like 1 star, didn't see a ghost.
Yeah, pretty much.
1 star,
it's like,
I wasn't physically assaulted.
It's like, yeah, the ghost didn't slap me on, the ghost didn't neck me or blow on my neck or anything.
Guys, I didn't even get throat punched.
Yeah, the ghost didn't throat chop me. Yeah, that is pretty interesting, honestly.
So are the two ladies like friends? Are they seen together or separately?
I don't know. It never really said if they were seen together or separately. If they are just like girlfriends, maybe that's why the one of them like visits, from the winery, because she's like, I gotta go hang out with my bestie.
I guess that's true, but also, so the girl from the winery, what was her name?
Lena Elsie.
Okay, so why is she connected to the? Is she buried there?
I believe so, and she also just kind of just shows up.
But how do they know it's her?
That is a great question.
It could just be any lady.
Could be any lady, yep. Maybe that's where the glass breaking is from, though. Because she did say she liked to smash wine glasses. He brings a bottle of the Spirit House Chardonnay.
We need to get some of those like silicone wine glasses.
Oh, yeah, like the weird rubber ones?
The rubber ones that don't break.
Yeah, I think she might get mad at us, though. Maybe then she'd show us the apparition.
She play racquetball with them, just bounce them off the walls.
Yeah, she's like, dang it!
She's like,
why won't these break?
I can't break them!
Why won't these break? Although, this time, unlike my cryptid one... That is all I have, by the way. Unlike my cryptid one...
you don't have a closing statement, a dramatic closing statement?
I don't have a dramatic closing statement, and I didn't write down any questions. We can think up some questions if you'd like, though.
I mean, I think I've been yapping this whole time. I've been interrupted. You would like try to get into such a groove, and I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, you're like, hey, stop.
Let me interject. I have a
run
question.
it back. I guess the biggest question is,
do you think if you get a bottle of wine and you bring it back, that you're like bringing a little piece of her with you? Because here's something that I think about a lot. My house is full of dead people shit. Like, I go thrifting and estate sales all the time. Like, half of the stuff I own was once belonged to somebody else who I'm 90% sure is now dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I believe in the whole, like, haunted objects or things like that. But do you think if you went and were just like, hey, come with me back home?
Do you think they put a little bit of ghost in each of the types of wine, the Pinot Noir and the Chardonnay?
Do you think that they take the barrel and then like roll it around and they just like waft air onto it?
Yeah, they're like, blow on the apparate into this. Put your ectoplasm in our wine. That
ectoplasm flavored wine.
Yeah, that is the big question. Like, everybody talks about like ectoplasm. So is ectoplasm like a physical thing, like you can touch? Like, is it like a goo?
I think it's cheesecloth that mediums spit egg yolks into and then pretend that it's ghost goo.
That's honestly fair. What do you think ectoplasm tastes like if it was actually from a ghost?
Raw eggs.
Raw eggs?
I imagine like boogers.
Boogers?
Like slimy and cold. Like runny egg whites.
So it's like a gunk?
Yeah. What did you think it was?
No, nothing. I was asking your opinion.
Oh. I thought you were challenging me. I thought you were going to be like, no, it's this.
Yeah, it's actually fruit flavored.
It's Hawaiian punch.
Yeah, it's Hawaiian punch flavored. It's like the mystery flavor of Airheads, It's like white.
Yeah, that's my favorite flavor.
You cannot say your favorite flavor of Airheads is white. It's just every other flavor. It's random.
I know, but like...
So you like every flavor of Airhead.
It's different, though. It's like the transition between two flavors.
No.
So it's not...
The white isn't a flavor. It is just one of the other flavors white.
But why would you not have it pre-dyed?
I don't know. We're getting off topic, though.
I thought it was like transitionary goob from one batch to another. So it was like a
maybe.
mix.
I don't know.
I don't know. I always liked the white ones the best.
That's because
the
you're
same
weird.
way that people always say that M&Ms don't have a different taste. They totally do. And anybody who says otherwise is wrong. And I don't know if that's just because
honestly, I think it's like
a
color association thing, I feel.
Yeah, but I'm the kind of person that has to set them all out and get like one of each color and then put them in my mouth. So it's like a rainbow.
So it's like a balance. Just eat Skittles then.
No, I do the same thing with Skittles. I have to lay them all
I
out.
figured. This is getting really off topic from haunted
what
ghost
were we talking
stuff.
About? Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm, yeah. I guess I don't really have any other questions about it. I guess my closing statement could be, apparently don't go to the cemetery because you'll get chased off by a hysterically laughing ghost.
I have a question. Do you think if you see, was it Ida? Is that her name?
Which one?
The one at the winery.
That was, Elsie was her middle
Elsie.
name. I have to look up her.
You put your notes down
put
too
my
soon.
notes
I'm
down.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Do you think if you like encounter
Lena.
her, you get a free bottle of wine?
Are you asking if she hands out samples?
No, that's what I'm saying though. They're like, if you go to like the end and you're like, you guys, I saw her. They're like, congratulations, you passed the
Here
test.
you go.
It's like Willy Wonka. You're just like, you passed the test. Here you go. Here's a bottle of wine.
You own the winery now.
I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lena.
She's like, this is for you.
Yeah, here you go.
I think, or do you think
No,
people
probably
only
not.
see her after they get really, really drunk?
She's just a figment of everyone's imagination.
She's just a group hallucination.
Or do you think after they get a certain amount of wine in you, just have someone like dress up as a ghost and just like
and you're not
walk
able to tell the
around?
difference?
Yeah, you're just like,
powder your face.
oh,
A little sick.
she's real.
Put on an old dress.
Yeah, and like an old tattered dress. They're like, I drank carbolic acid.
That's so sad.
It really is, honestly. I do feel bad. But she does have wine made after her now, so that's pretty cool.
Honestly, every woman's dream.
True. That's so real.
If somebody wants to make a wine named after me,
I guess you'd have to kill yourself first, unfortunately.
Oh, no. It's
and
like
haunt
artists,
somewhere.
It's like artists. You don't get popular until
you're dead. Yeah, pretty much.
Poor girl.
Well, I'm excited to see what kind of cryptid you got, because originally you were going to do Bat Squatch, and you put it in the title of your notes like a moron,
I know,
so I read
and
it.
I spoiled it. And you saw, because I forgot that because we have the shared
Yeah,
Google
it's a
Drive, it gives you a
shared-
notification every time I put something in there.
Yeah, I don't know why you decided to do that.
Well, it didn't. You didn't see it for the first one. You just weren't paying attention.
I didn't. Yeah, that's fair, honestly.
I was just counting on you to be kind of an idiot the whole time.
Yeah, well, I'm actually pretty smart, so
Yeah.
joke's on you.
Okay. Who's the one graduating?
Not you, because you still have one class.
Okay. Shh.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's not important. That's not important.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear about your cryptid.
Okay, so today I have a fun little story for you. Have you ever heard of the adlet?
No.
Okay, so this is a cryptid also known as the Inuit werewolf.
Oh no, that's a good start. I like werewolves. Werewolves are cool.
Ooh, I know. And I would just like to put a little caveat in here. We are two white people talking about Native American lore now. So if I say anything that is horrifically untrue or just not
or we mispronounce
right, or
something for
I'm
that
going
matter.
to mispronounce things. I am usually pretty good at pronouncing things.
Yeah,
but,
sorry.
feel free to email us, which also, by the way, I have the email set up. You can email us at twobozosinthe@gmail.com.
Very creative name.
Woo woo. Yeah, it's our... What else did you want me to name it?
I don't know.
It's our title.
Yeah, I don't know. Just tell me about the werewolf.
I don't think you could have thought of anything better.
You're right. I definitely could have, and that's why you made it.
This was my idea. Keep that in mind.
It sure was. But you did ask me to come on here, so...
I guess that's true.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So, regionally, this is a story or a legend that goes around in Greenland, the Hudson Bay, the Baffin Islands, and also just generally Canada and some portions of Alaska, pretty much anywhere where there were native and still are native Inuit people.
So, like, more north.
Yeah. North America.
Yeah.
So the adlet are half man and half dog, as the name goes. That they're werewolves, but not in the more like European traditional sense. They have the lower half of a dog, where they have like dog legs and a tail, and then the upper half of a man.
So they're like a satyr kind of.
Yeah.
So they have like a dog head.
No, they have a man's head. It depends. We'll get to it, but it depends on the legend. Some legends say they're like physically from the waist up, like just a regular,
just a dude
man. But some say that they'll have like yellow eyes and like a longer nose.
Yeah. Some more like canine features.
Yeah, or pointed ears, but like pretty. They have like human hands, just with like really long nails and claws.
So they just sound like evil, like elves, kind of, is what you're describing to me.
Kind of, but you have the lower half of a dog. So they're described as very, very fast and very strong.
Yeah.
And they are taller and faster than the Inuit and white men that are in the area. And they stand between 6 and 8 feet tall.
That's kind of big.
That is a big boy. They are extremely fierce and aggressive hunters and are often described as cannibalistic.
Okay. So they're still considered like people then, kind of.
They're considered a race of being.
Oh, okay.
It's like we'll get to it a little further down.
Okay.
But they're considered like their own race of people almost.
Interesting.
It is said that they are incredibly aggressive, and they'll like eat and tear apart anything they come in contact with, but it's said that they have a particular affinity for human meat and drinking human blood.
Of course they do.
Because of course they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
What myth and or legend is complete without a little bit of consuming human flesh and blood,
I
right?
know. I guess that's kind of like the standard.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you make stuff scary, honestly.
And they, unlike like European werewolves, the adlet will hunt in packs.
Oh.
And they are also, because they're half man, they're like very intelligent. They're able to use tools.
Okay.
And things like that.
Because like aren't European werewolves more so just like really big wolves, right?
Well, they're like shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Also. It's like one or the other.
Yeah.
This one is like a constant mix of the both. This one is not a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Okay, yeah. So that was gonna be one of my questions. Like, does it start off as a person? But no, they're just like born.
No, they were born this way.
Okay.
And we'll get to it. That's gonna be my saying at this point. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. We get there when we get there.
Shut up, Tucker. We'll get there when we get there.
I'm sorry.
So there's often a lot of legends of the adlet coming in contact with man in altercations, kind of like battles or wars.
Yeah.
Or just generally like attacking human settlements. But usually 9 times out of 10, man is the victor, and it's like this story of like the adlet coming in and attacking them, and the men like rising together and fighting them off and protecting their people and their land and that kind of stuff. It's kind of like just like something to be afraid of.
Yeah. It's like a boogeyman kind of.
Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. Every single website I came across had a slightly different origin story.
Okay.
Which that's kind of what happens when the story is passed down through generations and generations only by word of mouth, not being written down. So there is no like concrete legend, and you go 5 miles down the road and I'm sure somebody's grandpa has a different version of how it happened.
We honestly just need to do an episode where we just find someone's grandpa and they just tell us like traditional stories. That'd be cool.
Dude, that'd be sick.
I want to do that.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
That'd be pretty cool.
And campfire stories.
Yeah.
With questionable morals.
That's okay. That's the best kind of campfire stories when they have questionable morals. Sorry, I interrupted you. Continue.
Okay. So, the origins vary depending on who you hear them from. So I'm just going to go with the ones that I found most often. It's totally possible, if you are a listener, that you have heard something different. From what I found, they follow the same beginning. It's kind of the ending that changes a little bit. Okay, so the origins are between a woman and a giant dog. So this woman is named Niverisang, and she is the daughter of Sivorkwong, I think is how you would pronounce his name. And I couldn't find any info on him, but so Nivarsang, she wouldn't take a husband, and she refused to marry, and that really pissed off her dad. But instead of marrying a man, she marries a
big dog.
Yeah, and his name is Ijirkang, I think is how you would pronounce it.
So this is like a sentient wolf then?
Well, I don't think so, because we'll get to it. So Ijirkang is a large dog with white and red spots. In some stories, he's entirely like fiery red, and he's just like this really big dog. And they have 10 children. 5 of them are dogs, and 5 of them are the adlet, which are the half man, half dog. Yeah. And then because Ijirkang does not hunt, so the wolf or the dog, he's not out hunting. I guess he could, but he's not. So Savir Kong, who is Nevarisang's dad.
Yes.
I'm so sorry if I'm butchering these names. I'm
Yeah.
doing the best that I can. So he must hunt to take care of the family.
Yeah.
So that's including his daughter and the 10 children, and then her wolf dog husband.
Interesting.
So it is said that because the household is really, really loud and annoying, Severe Kong moves the family to a small island offshore. And instructs Idjir Kang to come back to shore each day to collect meat. Yeah. So the dog husband swims back and forth.
Yeah, to get the food.
Get food to take back to his family who's on this island. Yeah. So Navar Siang, I think that's actually better. Navar Siang. Yeah, I think that's... I don't know what I've been saying the last couple of halves. But Navar Siang, the woman, she hangs a pair of boots from the wolf's neck so that he can carry the meat back with him to shore. So he's got this empty pair of boots around his neck. Yeah. And Severe Kong puts stones in the boots one day, and the wolf drowns. Dang. Yeah. So he tries to carry it back, and the boots are full of stones, and he drowns.
Tragic.
And Navar Siang is really angry about this.
I mean, rightfully so.
As you would.
Her dad murdered her husband for, like, basically no reason.
Yeah, he was just pissed. And I guess, I don't know, he was, like, resentful.
Yeah.
So then Navar Siang commands her children to go and attack her father.
Oh.
So that includes the 5 that are dogs and the 5 that are adlet. Yeah. And then in retaliation... Severe Kong cuts off Nevarisang's fingers, and they turn into seals and whales when they fall into the water.
Interesting.
And in one story, it's like she went over on a boat to like confront him, and he like meets her on the boat, and they fight, and the dogs chew off the grandfather's like hands and feet. Oh. But he's able to like get free, and he cuts her fingers off, and she falls into the water.
Yeah, how does he cut her fingers off if he has no hands or feet?
So like everything stays pretty much the same up until about the middle of the story,
and then it starts
shifting. It gets
to
the point where the wolf drowns, and then like the last half of the story varies by who you're talking to.
If he's cutting off someone's fingers while also not having hands, like, he's a trooper.
Well, it's also like his own daughter.
Yeah, I mean, he did also murder her husband, though.
I guess that's true.
Although her husband was a giant dog, so...
Yeah, but I mean, I can't blame her.
No, I mean, I'd be mad, too.
I'd be mad, too. And also, like, I don't blame her for not wanting to take a husband. You know, she's probably
I mean, I can't really either.
She's probably like, you know what, the wolf would treat me better anyway.
Yeah, because he can't talk.
He can't talk, he can't argue.
Yeah, he just goes, gets meat from the shore, comes back. He's a good boy. Yeah.
Okay, so Navar Siang is afraid her father will kill the adlet, so she sends them inland. She like sends them off, and it is said that they become the Europeans' ancestors.
Okay, that's what I was kind of getting. I was kind of getting sort of like an analogy of like, all right, these like the white people are like monsters, kind of, you know.
No, that's totally something that was talked about. There were some anthropologic
like connotations
of the whole story, and some of them it's interpreted as like the bond between like a mother and her children, how she'll do anything to protect them, so she sends them away for their own
for their own safety.
And then also just like familial ties. But also I read a couple articles that were comparing the red wolf to like a white man that then came in and then either like assaulted or forced this woman to marry him, and then they had all their children. And it's like a negative connotation of like a destruction of like native practices and traditions.
Well, I mean,
but it's like there's a lot of different ways you could slice it.
Also, if it's that, with at least the variation of how you told the story, I didn't really get the idea that like the wolf husband was really like the villain.
He's
in
not.
This.
In some of these he's not. But
he's just kind of there.
There's but as I said, like the first half is pretty much the same between stories, but then you get to the end and it depends on the ending. So there's another version where after giving birth to this litter of half man, half
Dogs,
dog, hybrids, she is terrified of them, and she sets 5 of them adrift in the sea.
Oh, okay.
And then these 5 managed to cross the Arctic and Atlantic, and then those became the European races. So she sent them away. It was never something.
Yeah, she was like, ew, gross.
Yeah. And then the other 5 children stayed with her, and then they became the ferocious flesh-eating canine hominids who attacked anyone.
So in that version of the story, she had 10 like adlets then.
Yeah.
She was like, get rid of 5 of them.
Yeah, she got rid of 5 of them, and then she kept the other 5. I'm not sure how she decided which 5 to keep.
Yeah, that's kind of, honestly, imagine drawing a short stick and having to go live in Europe or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, poor things.
Yeah.
Especially because like in that story they're like babies, and she like just puts them in
Yeah,
a
that
boat
would
and, like,
suck. She's like,
pushes them
hope you
off.
learned your mariner's knots, kiddos, and just sets them adrift. They're like, what?
Oh no.
Do you think the dog husband was alive then? He's like, where? He like comes home from like getting the meat. He's like, yo, where'd half my kids
Where'd
go?
half of my children go? The whole point that we're out here is because there's so many of us.
Because
and
there's
your
loud.
And your dad wants to be away
Your dad
from us.
hates us for some reason, and I can't hunt apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, so the adlet have further offspring, and then it like grows the population of adlets.
Right.
And they then turn to wandering the tundra in these packs where they seek out Inuit villages.
Then try to like eat them.
To like hunt them down. Yeah. And then, okay, there's one more origin that I came across that I just want to like flush out all of these endings, because again, every single place that I looked had a different ending.
Yeah, of course.
So according to this legend, the woman was just lonely and married the dog, because instead of like, I guess, refusing to marry anyone else, there was nobody else for her to marry.
Yeah.
So she was lonely. And the dog was actually a spirit in disguise.
Oh, okay.
So that one, I don't know. I like that one a little bit more. It's like 2 lonely people coming together.
Yeah, good for her.
And in this story, she gave birth to 15 children. 5 were dogs.
5 were dogs.
10 who were adlet. And then in other stories, 5 are human, 5 are dogs, and 5 are adlet.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so like some stories say 10, some stories say 15, some say half are human, half are not. Some say
some are human, some are dog.
Some are fully dog.
Interesting.
Some are fully adult. The point is that there's like this mixing between the two.
Right.
And in this version, they had a hostile relationship with their father, who was the spirit, and he allegedly then tries to kill them several times. Like, I don't know why he would do that.
Probably because they're man-eating monsters.
I don't know. Yeah, but then in this version, also the mother, in order to protect them, she puts them on a raft.
Yeah, to get them away from their deadbeat dad.
Yeah, and then it is said that the adlet land. They land in an unknown land and become the ancestors of the Europeans, and the dogs stayed with their mother and became the ancestors of the Native Americans.
Interesting.
Yeah, and in that version, I didn't see anything about her fingers getting cut off and turned into seals and whales.
That's good. I think she probably likes having her fingers.
She probably does prefer having her fingers. But yeah, it was really cool because it was this whole back and forth between like good and evil.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. From what I could find, there have only been like a handful of sightings. And a lot of it is just people out driving and then they see a large wolf-like creature for like a split second. It's like cold and dark and wet outside.
So I guess before we go on, I'd like to clear up something. When you say the like bottom half of like a wolf, and I got like a tail and stuff, and then top half of a man, is it like a hairless man?
No,
or is it like just like a really hairy kind of guy?
They're hairy, but it's more human than like your
more
stereotypical
than wolf.
werewolf
Okay.
trope.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
What color are they, you think, like fur-wise?
They're red.
They're
like
red
or brown.
Man, that must be so inefficient on a tundra then.
Yeah. That's
why they only hunt humans.
The idea is that the dad was a big red wolf
Yeah,
dog,
yeah,
so
I get that.
They're covered in like reddish fur.
Biologically, that would suck, though. That's why they only hunt people. That's the only thing they can get. Everything else sees them like a mile away.
Yeah, you're not sneaking up on any moose.
No, not when you're like painting yourself bright red. You're like, man, I sure can't wait to eat this delicious deer, and it's just like, yeah, actually, I saw you 10 miles ago, buddy, and it just leaves.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. But they are said to be like more intelligent, though, so I don't know if that would really make much of a difference. They seem more organized.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I could find, the earliest known encounter of the adlets was by European settlers in Quebec, and there was a record from all the way back in 1654.
Wow.
Way back when. According to a journal, there was a Jesuit missionary that was setting up camp there, and the creatures, it mentioned more than one, descended onto this settlement and killed about 20 people.
Jeez.
And only the rest of them survived because they were able to get on horses and escape.
Wow.
And I don't know how much of that was adlet or just a wolf pack.
Yeah.
Or just some people who were on a new land and going kind of crazy and...
Yeah, they were stuck in the winter woods and stuff.
There's also stories of like large quantities of livestock being killed, particularly around Vermont's Green Mountains, especially during the winter.
Yeah.
And those are just like clusterings of like large animal attacks.
Yeah.
But it would be pretty easy to chalk that up, I'd say, to bears or mountain
or
lions
wolves
or just poaching in general.
Yeah.
I saw one thing, I'm reading it here. I'm going to read this in my dramatic NPR voice. In 1993, M-Force was called in to investigate livestock disappearances in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and discovered that adlets were responsible. M-Force believes that they eliminated the entire pack and no further adlet activity has been reported.
What is the M-Force?
I have no idea. No clue.
They have like a mythical animal like task force?
That's what I was trying to find out.
That's sick. So that was in like the 90s?
Yeah, that was in 1993. And then here's another one. I'm also going to read this really dramatically. Reports of adlet sightings for activity are common in the Pacific Northwest, especially the Olympic Mountains area. M-Force believes that between 3 and 8 different packs regularly hunt the area.
Interesting.
And I'm like, who is this M-Force? Who are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Also, get out of the Pacific Northwest. Go away.
Yeah, go back to Canada and like Greenland and stuff.
But it's like so crazy. It's like we believe that we have neutralized these forces, and it's like,
if you're so
you're shooting or capturing and killing human-animal hybrids and not telling anybody about it, but reporting on it on this weird back alley website.
So, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. If there's anyone from M-Force listening to this, please send us an email. I want to talk to you so bad.
Oh my god, that'd be excellent.
Yeah, that would be the best interview ever.
Do you think these are the same people that pulled that hoax where like Bigfoot was frozen in ice and they like made people go look at it? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I that's the first I've ever heard of this.
Oh, okay. I might have to cover that later. It's like a really famous hoax.
Really?
You never heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it was like this freak show where they like took a pig and they like stuffed it in a gorilla suit and then froze it in a massive block of ice and then were like,
they're like, look at what we found.
Yeah, and this guy would charge like 15 cents for people to like look in his trailer.
Interesting. That's kind of cool, though. I would have gone and seen that.
I'm pulling that from the top of my brain. I'm not entirely sure if any of that is accurate. I'm going to have to do some digging and find out.
Maybe that's what the next episode is on.
Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, man.
You don't have enough about M-Force on board.
I know. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out who this elusive M-Force... Also, how do we become members of it?
Yeah, I'd like to join.
2 questions. Number 1... what?
Can
and then
I
number 2,
interview?
how?
Yeah. Huh?
Can you give us a little bit of insight?
See,
how do we join your group, and then also
what are you doing?
What do you
do? Are you funded by the government? Like, also, what do you think the M in M-Force stands for?
Monster, probably.
Probably, yeah. That's kind of cliche though. Mutant? I guess maybe.
Mystery Force.
Mystery Force could be cool.
That feels like a ripoff of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. I hope they don't see this in like ISIS though. I might be kind of awkward.
We've doxed them. I actually stumbled upon some horrible website that like they weren't supposed to publicize.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, now the public knows about M-Force.
You just got a couple people fired, and now they're coming to like put bags over our heads and like drive us to the woods.
They're gonna dump us to the
yeah,
adlet.
they're gonna feed us to them.
Oh my gosh, that'd be horrible.
Are there any other sightings you're gonna discuss now that we've gone on a tangent for like 5 minutes again?
Yeah, I have one more that I wanted to
All right,
read in my voice.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay, this is in 2009. M-Forcers in the Union. Oh my gosh.
M-Forcers?
M-Forcers in the Union County, Georgia, tracked and killed a small pack of adlets. This is the furthest south the creature has ever been reported.
Georgia's really far south.
I'm sure it was just Shay.
Dang, that's rough. But he's still alive though, so that means one escaped. We should ask him after this. Actually,
we have one.
We
have one here for you.
In exchange for membership, we'll sell out the last adlet from that pack in Georgia.
It's just my boyfriend.
Yeah, she can just get another one. Jeez.
Any tall, hairy creature seen in the south? No, that's
Shay.
That's just Shay.
Is that you? Yeah, I mean
pre-2015.
Pre-2015 Shay.
Oh my gosh.
I like how they call their like operatives like M-Forcers though.
I know.
It sounds like an RP group kind of.
I know, and this is the only because I literally was feverishly googling like adlet sightings, and all of them were like, I saw this weird wolf-like thing. And it was dark, and it was snowing, and I was driving on my ATV, and we were out in the middle of literally nowhere. And I'm like, that might just be a regular wolf, my guy.
I'm being honest with you. I don't think I want to encounter regular wolves if all I'm on is an ATV. I don't know if I'd be out in the dark snow on an ATV. That does not sound wise, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good way to just get eaten in general.
That's a good way to just
disappear.
Yeah. Hypothermia, I'm way more afraid of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing like a wolf-man hybrid does sound kind of scary. That are apparently cannibals.
I don't know. I think at that point you're just going snowblind.
Yeah, honestly, probably you're just going to be like,
it's actually the hypothermia setting in. You're just going insane.
Maybe. So it's a hallucination is what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
I guess it's possible.
Human brains are weird.
They're funky. Did you get ending questions like mine?
I didn't have any prepared because we usually end up rambling long enough anyway.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
I'm the kind of person that I will posit a question to you as I think of it.
Yeah, that's true. I like putting
Closing
at the end
questions.
because they're funny.
The only other, really, all this did was leave more questions than answers. Because now now I just want to know about M-Force.
I want to know about M-Force. Do you think they sell merch?
I don't know, but also the website I got this from was called The Death Cookie, and you can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. Apparently,
we should go check out their YouTube when we're done with this.
We totally should. They had this article called "Monster of the Week: The Adlet."
Monster of the Week.
That's a pretty good title.
It is a good title. That's very interesting.
I got nothing else here.
Got nothing else? Let's think of some questions. Do you think it'd be scarier if it was they like swapped it so the top half was a wolf, bottom half was a man?
Just like a man with little chicken legs.
A wolf with chicken human legs, I guess. Like fuzzy chicken legs.
Ugh. And that means I have like human feet.
Mm-hmm. Human toes.
You know how I feel about feet.
Yeah, you don't really like feet.
I don't. That's gross.
Would that be scarier to you then?
Yeah, that'd be definitely more uncomfortable. But then does that mean that they'd have like wolf paws, which means then because I'm thinking if it has human hands, they can like grab onto you and stuff.
True.
But paws, you can't really do that.
True.
I mean, you can scratch the hell out of you. But
and another question that kind of comes up with that is like, do they run on four legs, or are they bipedal, quadrupedal? Do they swap between?
That is a really good question. I was actually thinking about that, and I couldn't find an answer.
I mean,
I like to think that they kind of like gallop.
So they're kind of like chimps.
That's how it is in my mind, but I can also see, because from what I imagine, the reason that they are said to be so fast is because they have the bottom half of a dog. So
yeah, I mean, that's fair. Themselves. That's fair.
But I'm trying to, in the mental gymnastics that I have to do to think about this, I imagine that it's like mostly back leg, but maybe they like propel themselves a little bit with the front. Yeah,
that also could be scary, because imagine you're just like going out, you're like snow camping or building an igloo, and you like look off in the distance,
and there's just like a man rumbling towards you,
and you see one fours. It's not even on all fours, it's just like Olympic sprinter just like sprinting at you, dead sprint through a blizzard. Do you realize how scary that would be? Even if it was just a guy
with a tail.
Yeah, and you're just like, what is that? And it's just like
it's just like
it just booking it. That would be scary.
That would be terrifying.
But
also, I'd be caught dead snow camping. I did that once.
I liked it.
Never again.
I've done it like 2 or 3 times.
Did you ever have to do snow caving when you were a scout?
Yeah.
God, I hated that.
Yeah.
I did it once, and it was the most traumatic experience of my life.
I don't really blame you. I remember the last time I did it, I didn't have snow boots, so I was using rubber boots with like 2 layers of socks. And I kept like feeling something in my boot, and I was like, "That, that's weird." And I ended up getting up to the parking lot. This was on Mount Hood. We hiked down to a campsite, and I pulled my boot off my foot and dumped it out, and it was a dead mouse. I bludgeoned a mouse to death with my feet while walking like half a mile.
Ew! It was just in your boot.
Yeah, I dropped it. I was standing there with one of my buddies. And we were like, huh, interesting. I wonder how that got in there.
Was it like nibbling on your toes?
I was wearing like 2 socks, so I didn't 2 layers of socks. So I don't think I felt it, and I just kicked it to death apparently.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we were like, huh, that's interesting. I did not see an adlet though, so apparently they don't, or at least I wasn't lucky enough to see one in Mount Hood, or maybe I was lucky enough to not see one in Mount Hood.
I like to think that they don't come down this far.
I mean, apparently they're in Georgia, so Oregon is much closer than Georgia is.
I know. I
mean, realistically, you're in...
the second one I read was from talking about the Pacific Northwest and how there's between 3 and 8 different packs.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I'm like, we don't even have that many wolves. We have like 2...
We have a fair amount of wolves.
We haven't, because they've been reintroduced in the last couple years. Like we have like 2 or 3 packs.
So, in regards to the wolves, do you think they like fight with the adlets over like territory or whatever? If this creature is real, or do you think they're more like friendly with each other?
Well, from just based off of accounts of how big they're supposed to be, like wolves are freaking huge.
Yeah, no, wolves are massive.
But these things stand 6 to 8 feet.
Yeah, that's
tall.
Standing 6 to 8 feet. That means they're at least like 6 or 8 feet long.
Yeah.
That's not counting the tail.
Yeah. I honestly think they're like, I mean, if you have like a full-grown gray wolf, I feel like they're a little bit smaller, but they are described as being insanely aggressive.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like bloodthirsty. So I like to think that if they could, they'd take down another wolf pack. They could have like rival packs.
Well, see, what's different about the adlets is they can like punch stuff. You know,
I guess that's true.
They can just like knock a wolf's out. Get some brass knuckles and just like break a wolf's jaw.
Completely untouchable at that point.
Yeah,
they can also use tools.
You're gonna be sleeping with the fishes.
Maybe they got little hammers or clubs. They
probably could just like bash you with a rock.
Honestly, much more terrifying.
That would really suck. I think.
That would really suck.
I think that's all we have for this time. On that happy note.
On that really happy note. Well, I liked your story.
My story was fun. I wish I had more substance. Like, the biggest problem that I had with mine is, like, it said it had 2 significant fires, but I looked at some of the town's history and I couldn't really see any fires, so I don't know if they literally just, like, made that up as an excuse to beat and then hang a woman.
2 quote-unquote
significant
major
fires.
It was actually just, like, somebody threw, like, a little bit of kerosene on, like...
One of their lamps splashed or something. They're like, killing the witch now, I guess.
It's a major fire. It's the witch.
Yeah, we gotta get her. Or curses, stop. I don't know. I did like it. I do want to see if we can get some of the ghost wine, though.
Dude, 1,000%. I wonder if we can be put on a mail order. Or maybe they'll sponsor us. Hello?
Maybe they'll sponsor. We haven't even posted an episode yet.
I know, but I'm gonna let the universe do its thing. Listeners, you know what to do.
Dear listeners.
We have a task for you.
Buy us wine.
Harass this poor winery until they send us wine.
Don't actually do that. We'll just go visit.
Do that.
It's like maybe a 30-minute drive from where we live.
Oh my gosh, let's go right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to go right now and get ghost wine?
Yeah.
What if they don't have any?
Well, don't pester me.
But you want to pester the winery.
With stupid technicalities and questions.
Then you're just going to get there to be disappointed, and then we'll come home and you'll be mad the whole ride.
I'll throw another tantrum.
Yeah. She's like, I gotta get my ectoplasm wine.
Get my ectoplasm wine.
My ecto wine. My Chardonnay.
Well, it is like almost 8 p.m. at the time that we're finishing this up, so I guarantee they're closed now.
I will say also, I like recording when it's like not midnight, like last time.
Yeah, I think last time we finished recording at like 1 in the morning.
It was rough. We literally finished recording, listened to it like maybe once. We're like, hey, that's pretty good. All right, bye, and we both went to bed. Not that I can blame us, but I think. See, the thing is, the problem is like it being dark out like sets the mood. Although last time we were also under my desk. This is not under the desk. Excuse me.
See, and now you're yawning again.
I wasn't yawning. That was a hiccup.
Am I boring you?
Yeah. I'm just gonna do the next episode by myself. I'm gonna record it, send it to Shay, and you're not even gonna know. And you're like, ready for episode 3? I'm like,
you're like, I'm already ahead of you.
Episode 4, you mean?
You're just
like,
gaslight me into thinking that I already recorded episode 3.
I could. I totally could.
You could. I'd believe it.
Yeah, I know you would. I think we're switching off again, though.
Blame it on the antidepressants.
Dang. I think we're switching again next time, though. So do you have an idea of what ghost or spooky thing you're going to be doing?
I have an idea.
You have an idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know if we touched on this in the first episode. I think big stuff, like Mothman or Bigfoot are going to need their own dedicated episode. So it's not like a two-piece. It'll be like a joint effort.
Especially because I feel like the other person would be upset. Like if I covered Mothman, I feel like you'd be like, I wanted to do that.
Yeah, you'll be like, here's Mothman. I'm like, here's the haunted cell phone booth in Salem, Oregon or something. And it takes like 5 minutes. You're like, anyway, here's an hour of Mothman, moron.
It's more just going to have to be, I think, a banter back and forth about...
Yeah, which is honestly fine. Mothman's cool. I like Mothman.
I could talk about Mothman for 7 straight hours.
Honestly, fair. He's pretty cool.
We'll have that be one of our specials.
I think we should go to Point Pleasant to record the Mothman episode. I think we should take a trip to Point Pleasant.
We should record it underneath, like, sitting below the Mothman statue.
I think we'd look really stupid.
I think there'd also be, like, a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I feel it would not
People
be very good. People
walking up, they're like, what the hell are you doing?
What are you guys doing? Get out.
We're doing a seance. Don't.
Get out. We're communing with Mothman.
We're starting a cult.
Yeah. The Mothman Prophecies. We should watch that movie. But yeah, I think for something like Mothman, we should definitely actually visit the place. Because I want to go there anyway. Because Mothman makes Point Pleasant like $1 or $2 million a year. Which, good for him, honestly.
Honestly, good for those kids in the 70s that were baked out of their minds and saw it.
Good for them. Yeah, something like that I think will be like a whole thing. And there will definitely be some ghost ones that are like that as well. But for some, like cryptids specifically, there's just so much stuff to cover. It's like we got to just devote one thing.
Well, especially because like also like Bigfoot, like it varies so much by region. And also like every single continent has like their own
different version. That means it's
Bigfoot.
Real.
Yeah. Yeah, same with dragons. That's how you know they're real.
Oh, God. I forgot we're going to have to do a dragon episode.
I call dibs.
That's fine. Dragons are cool.
Dragons are cool. Anyway.
Yeah. That was a good part of awkward silence there. I think that's all we have. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Two Bozos in the Bone Zone, hosted by Daphne Stacy and Tucker Lambing. Cover art by Noah Kachiver and editing by Shay McNeely. If you like the show, please leave us a rating, give us a review, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or suggestions for further things you want us to cover, please email us at twobozosintthebozone@gmail.com. Also, please follow along on our Instagram page, TBITBZ, that's all caps, TBITBZ, for photos to go along with our stories and to keep up on any updates we put out. See you next time. Bye-bye.